First things first, congratulations to the Russian military leadership and Lugansk soldiers. They've managed to accomplish an extraordinary task. They've managed to capture Lysychansk, or whatever it's called, relatively undamaged, thanks to maneuver warfare. Very good. I say maneuver warfare, what I actually mean is like you maneuver your front lines so they get encircled and stuff like. Pretty much an offensive. From Popasna, they were able to get Ukraine in a position where the Ukrainians were forced to fall back, so they've captured heaps of land with very little fighting. So congratulations to Russia. Very well done. And Lugansk, of course. Lugansk's done an extraordinary job here. Very, very good job. Now, Ukraine, if they are being smart, will have already built a defensive line, which I will refer to the Ukrainian Hindenburg line, because they should have built a Hindenburg line. Like, there's towns in the area and stuff. I remember hearing stuff about Ukraine building defenses. So, hopefully for the Ukrainians' sake, that they've built a Hindenburg line. And a whole bunch of guys have been freed up to put in their areas of the front, both Ukrainian and Russian. So, of course, Russia could do more offensively, or they could go on the defensive. Personally, unless you're got a way of getting way more troops, I'm just going to say defensive is the way to go. Get all your conscripts making trenches, build back of the line defenses. I don't know the plausibility of this, but maybe you could even get civilian contractors from Russia and stuff to build defensive lines. So when Ukraine inevitably does their counterattack, you're in a pretty good spot to repel it. Of course, this defensive line should be built at least around 10 kilometers away from the front line, so the workers can work relatively unharassed. Of course, you might get Ukrainian artillery so even further back, but if you're secretive and stuff, and Ukraine's lacking artillery, so I don't think that will be much of a problem. So if you diversionary offensives and defensives and stuff should be enough to pull away Ukraine's resources to build on defensive lines. Of course, Russia could go on the offensive, but they'd need more troops, and what they're risking with an offensive is losing quite a lot of guys in their offensives, because you may take a trench without taking the losses and kill 5 Ukrainians, but that if a trench assault goes wrong, and you could lose a bunch of guys and stuff, and Ukrainian conscripts are replaceable, and so are Russian conscripts, but for offensive you have to use your proper soldiers, and they are unreplaceable. So as casualties are, Russians are killing 2 Ukrainians for every 1 Russian kill, which is very good. But unfortunately, there's more than 2 Ukrainians for every Russian. Of course, they are conscripts, but conscripts on the defensive. But meanwhile, Russia has got heaps of conscripts, but they're being used for defensive roles. So your offensive troops are being used up. So if you kill all of the Ukrainian professional soldiers, good. Now you've got to get through conscripts. But if all your professional soldiers are killed, then it's conscript versus conscripts, and the Ukrainians are better, so that makes it an even playing field in terms of troop quality, and the Ukrainians just have that more people. So an offensive could capture land, but unless you've got a masterpiece thing like they've done here, where they've managed to risk the encirclement. Of course, you could, if you're pro-Ukrainian, you could say, oh, well, the Ukrainians pulled back as like a defense, but that's not a proper defense, because if Russia wasn't so good, Ukraine wouldn't have been in a position to fall back, be forced to fall back. So just give credit to Russia. Of course, Russia could declare war, but that would be a massive embarrassment, especially considering that you've had a crackdown, people calling this a war, even though it's clearly a war. So, yeah, congratulations, Lugansk. You've done an excellent operation, and I wish you all the best. As for Donetsk, I won't say the bad word to Donetsk. Done.